Hi, and thanks for taking the time to watch the presentation. You're watching this because somebody cared enough to share with you some exciting information, and really, it's pretty revolutionary. What Dr. Gabriel Cousins, who's been an MD for over 40 years and a raw food advocate, says is a breakthrough into a whole new era. So I'm excited to share this with you and just get back with the person that shared this link with you, and they'll help you get started. So let's go through. This is basically going to be a introduction. I go into much more depth in a longer presentation, but I just want you to get the basic understanding of why somebody wanted to share this with you. Okay, so before I get started, I just want to put the disclaimer up here, and we're not intending to diagnose, treat, cure any illnesses or diseases. Now, this here is a depiction of a human cell with the nucleus, and in the nucleus you have the chromosomes, and the chromosomes are being depicted over here as well, and they're really highlighting the telomere, which were discovered in the 1930s, but they didn't really know the role they played. And then just more recently, we've really come to understand the role that they do play, and it's very critical, and it was actually given a Nobel Prize. The telomere is being depicted in red here, and what its purpose is if you look at this chromosome that's being stretched out, you can see these steps. They look like steps in a ladder. That's your DNA. And where these colors come together is a nucleic bond. And the telomere is kind of like the duct tape on the end that's holding those bonds together, which plays a very critical and essential role. Think of DNA like software in a computer. And when you lose software, then the computer programs start to glitch. When your cells lose some DNA, it's like losing the software and they start to glitch. And we'll have some health challenges. The more DNA we lose, the worse it gets. So what's happening is the body does have an innate ability to heal itself, although we're suppressing that, and at the same time, we're attacking it. And so I'll explain what that means. But what's happening as we're doing this is the telomere is being compromised, and it's degenerating, and it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. When it reaches a certain length, the cell shuts down. And if that's in an organ that's keeping you alive, then you'll die of a degenerative disease. Every symptom of aging and every degenerative disease has been linked to the length of the telomere. So as you can see where the rope is fraying, those nucleic bonds are actually separating. So the more fraying as it goes down the line, the more DNA we're losing down the line. And like a computer, when you lose enough software, the computer crashes. Same thing with our cells. Now, if it was in an organ that wasn't keeping you alive, let's say your eyes, the symptom of this would be blindness. You wouldn't be able to see at all. It's called senescence, death of the cell. There's not enough information to run the cells anymore. So that particular organ with those cells that reach senescence is going to stop operating. So again, every degenerative issue and every symptom of aging. So this is actually Nobel Prize winning research. Now, one of the things that's really frightening is that we're speeding up the telomere shortening. Things like smoking and drinking alcohol, stress, but even more critical is in our foods, in our processed foods. So things that are packaged and have preservatives in them. They're going to contain the chemicals that are in those preservatives, or like trans fats. Trans fats have been proven to shorten our telomeres faster. Well, in 2011, it was front page news on the USA Today. It said that children, their telomeres are 10 years shorter than they used to be just in recent decades. And I think that really collaborates or is in harmony with what I learned from a documentary called Food Matters. They said that 90% of Americans are eating like 95% processed food. So you'll see kids eating things like Doritos and flaming hot Cheetos for lunch, and then they're washing it down with, a Coke or a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew. And so they're constantly bombarding their bodies with these chemicals that are causing these problems. Now, the body does have an innate ability to heal this, only we've been suppressing it and we've been attacking it. Now, Bill Andrews is the geneticist who I was mentored by, and he has contributed a lot of great discoveries in this science of telomeres. In 1994, he identified a gene that's inside the chromosome in every cell that produces an enzyme called telomerase. And what telomerase can do is it will repair that damage. Now, that's not been happening. We've not been supporting the body on that level. And then, just more in recent decades, we've been attacking it more with these chemicals and toxicity. Now, Bill, when he identified this gene in 1994, he invented the equipment. And he started working with human skin cells to see if he could unsuppress that gene and support it to produce the telomerase like it's supposed to be. And he did it by 1997. He actually took human skin cells that were damaged and frayed, and as they activated or induced that gene, it produced the telomerase, and the damage was reversed. He got Inventor of the Year runner-up for that in 1997. So moving forward, more than a decade later, up to 40 researchers working in Bill's lab had tested over 304,000 compounds. And they, out of the 304,000, they found 8 that actually was unsuppressing the telomerase and growing the telomere back in the human skin cells in vitro. And they were able to monitor that with the equipment that they invented. But all of those compounds were toxic. They couldn't find anything natural. They exhausted the botanical world and the nutritional world, and nothing worked. And so they turned to pharmaceuticals and drugs. But these particular things that worked, these red lines are an indicator. So they found 8 different compounds out of 304,000. And again, they're being indicated by the red line here that it's growing the telomere back. And then they were watching that happen as well. But this is kind of an assay here that is coincides with what they're seeing under the microscope with the different compounds. And so this is by 2009. Now, a gentleman by the name of Peter Greenlaw, who's a good friend, and he's the one that made the introduction of Bill Andrews to John Anderson, who's a master herbalist. John Anderson, in his own way, has done things with the botanical world, just like Bill has done in the telomere research. And there are things that John Anderson has learned how to do that nobody's been able to duplicate. And so Peter realized that this would be a great collaboration if he could get these two guys together. And they actually honored Peter Greenlaw in 2009 for getting these two guys together. And I call it science meets wellness. And John Anderson got so excited. He didn't know about telomeres. He said, I'd heard of them, but I didn't really know the role that they played. And now that I know, I believe this is the reason for everything I've learned has prepared me for this. I believe this is the reason why I was born. And I feel very optimistic. I would have formulated for him a long time ago. Like, it's no big deal. He was just kind of like, I would have formulated for him a long time ago. Had I known all this about them, I feel very optimistic. And so he started formulating and sending those over to Bill's lab to test them. And in the first 15, John Anderson got a hit from all natural ingredients. Now, Bill Andrews in a documentary says, we have to admit, we thought he was extremely lucky because we tested thousands with no hits. And he sends us 15 and gets a hit. And then he sends us another 15 and gets another hit. In 120 compounds that John had sent over, all from natural ingredients, they got these 7. And Bill Andrews got really excited. He said, this is going to change the landscape of human health. Humanity will forever be changed. And this is the most exciting time of my life. And I was able to put together this presentation. Like I said, I was mentored by Bill. And he said, Dave, you did a great job taking some really complicated information and made it easy for people to understand. So I go in much more depth in a longer presentation. But again, this is just more of an introduction. But the products continue to improve over time. And when we got to a third improvement, we called it third generation isogenesis. Bill Andrews called and said, Dave, get a little group together in Las Vegas. I'm coming into town. And John did something that I said would be impossible to do from a natural botanical. He found 2 hits that went off the charts. And you have no idea what's about to happen. This moved our lab forward 15 to 20 years of where we thought we would be. And so it's been really exciting to watch this unfold, to be able to pioneer this to the public and what this really means in the way of the results that people are getting. John's continued to improve the product, and we're way past these 2 now. We're in what we call 4th generation. It's all natural. It's a vegan gel cap. It has its own delivery system in it, and it's just a flip top. My 18-month-old granddaughter, when she was in my office here, she actually grabbed the bottle and opened it up, poured them all out on the floor. And so that just is, just implies that it's very safe. It's all natural. And it's a telomere support. It's helping on a foundational level, unlike nutrition ever has. It really is a breakthrough. And in the longer presentations, I'll show you some results of people and their before and afters, as well as my own. Again, I'm just really excited to be able to share this breakthrough information with you. It really is making a huge impact. It's made an impact in me and my family's life. It's making an impact in people's lives that I've shared it with. And I don't see any finish line for that. There's just, I've been doing this for over 13 years now, and this product has been available for the last 7 years. So you now know the difference between long telomeres and short telomeres. It's not how long you've been alive chronologically that's going to determine how old you look and how youthful you look and how youthful you feel. It's going to be the length of your telomeres. And so you now know more about the science of aging, at least on a basic level, than 99% of the world. I've lectured all over the world, and people still have not even heard of a telomere. And now we have an asset for it. And that's a big deal. And as we support our bodies, the bodies are able to do what they know how to do. And the body has an innate ability to heal itself. And we're just supporting that body nutritionally because of this collaboration between John Anderson and Bill Andrews, unlike we ever have before. There's 120 vegan gel caps. You do 4 a day. There's 2 in the morning and 2 at night. So this one bottle is a complete month supply right here. Now, one other thing that I want to get into here is one other product that John Anderson has developed that I want to share. And we all know that you are what you eat, and that these 100 trillion cells need to be fed. They have to have 90 different nutrients going into the body and being assimilated at every meal. And Food Matters talks about this. It's a documentary that I highly recommend. It says those nutrients are missing from our soils. There's no way to get them anymore. And so you have to supplement. But the problem with supplementation is so many products out there are compromised. There's not a lot of regulation around it, and a lot of compromised products. So out of the 90 nutrients, 60 of them are minerals. And John Anderson's nickname is the Mineral Man by his colleagues. So in 1953, 1 bowl of spinach used to give you enough iron. So iron is a mineral that your body has to have. And in 2007, according to UCLA, you need 51 bowls of spinach to get the same amount of iron. And it's not just spinach, and it's not just iron, it's across the board with the minerals. This is showing the decline of minerals in our soil from the US Department of Agriculture in 1997, and the rise of disease as a result. And there's a lot of studies out there that show that, there's not enough minerals in the soil to support our bodies with the minerals they require. On top of that, there's never been more of a need to be fueling the body, optimally, so that it can withstand the things that it's exposed to today. Our air and our water, our food is not pristine anymore. The toxicity is in the air, it's in the water, and it's in the food. They never find less than 300 chemicals in newborn babies' blood. And even in our fruits and vegetables, there's a study out there. It's called the Dirty Dozen. It gives you the most toxic fruits and vegetables every year. And look at the things that are on here: celery, strawberries, apples. I mean, when you really think you're helping your body out, you're actually putting in things that are harming it. Collard greens, kale, spinach, and potatoes, lettuce. I mean, these are things we're eating all the time. And it's pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. They get into the fruits and vegetables. You can't wash them off. And a lot of people don't know this, but there are studies that show that organic don't have any more minerals in them than just the regular fruits and vegetables. And a lot of people also don't know that they can spray organic produce with pesticides. They just can't do it as long. It has to be a shorter amount of time. So it's a lot of misleading, misinformation, and really tricky marketing to make us believe that we're putting something in our bodies that are helping us, especially in the supplemental world. I remember a study called Bogus Supplements, and all of this, the supplements that they tested, none of them had anything that were in them. Now, on top of what's happening to our produce, the bigger problem is that most people are eating these processed foods, and these are not helping the body out at all. The nutrition's not there, and then you have all these preservatives and chemicals and dyes that actually become metabolic waste, hormone blockers, neural disruptors, all kinds of problems. And you're looking at the pH scale here, acidic versus alkaline. And this is a food thing. This is all about nutrition. Food Matters says good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars, because nutrition can get you healthy if you get the nutrition into your body in a way that it's assimilated. And the way to check that is to check your pH. They have saliva strips that you can spit on, and it turns a color. And then it tells you what number you are. Well, homeostasis, that's 7.0 to 7.5. This is the body that's pH balanced. And as soon as you drop below 7, you're creating an acidic environment called acidosis. What does that mean? It means that your body is going to automatically start pulling the minerals out of your bones and organs to try to offset the acidity and get you alkaline. And the alkalinity is in the water of your body, which is about 70% of you. So if you're below 7 all the time, then you're constantly pulling these minerals out of your bones and organs. And this is why pre-teenagers have osteoporosis. The number one mineral that's robbed is calcium. And so, again, this is a food related thing. Minerals are what get you here. And also, when you're at homeostasis or pH balance, you crave healthy foods. You crave alkaline foods. This is why when I was acidic, I craved coffee, soda, ice cream, Snickers bars, the junk food. My body was dictating to me what I had to eat based on what the environment of the body was, and it was acidic. Even when I ate the healthy foods, I never lost the cravings, which is a true indicator that the minerals aren't in the food. Because when I got on these shakes, this meal replacement that John Anderson created, it's a superfood. I think everybody's familiar with doing some kind of shake, so you get that more dense nutrition, right? I mean, people have been to stores like Jamba Juice and they get these smoothies, or you've bought the Vitamix or the juicer and you mixed up the vegetables. There's even shakes out there in the store, but they don't have the nutrition in them. I mean, a lot of them are just tricky marketing and actually developed to make you crave more. John Anderson created a superfood. This is not a diet shake. This is a superfood to address the lack of nutrition in our foods. John Anderson is known as the Mineral Man by his colleagues. And when I got on this shake, I immediately lost my cravings for the acidic foods. I have not had soda, coffee, the caffeinated drinks. I haven't had any in 13 years. Ice cream, I could go months without it. I don't crave it anymore. Like I said, I used to have Snickers bars every day. I've only had 3 Snickers bars in 13 years. They just don't even tempt me. I can see one and I just don't even want to reach for it because my body's not craving it. And my granddaughter, when she was crawling, we had her on the shakes, and when she sees a cup of that shake, she'll crawl over to it, just like kids do, when they see candy at the store. They want to move towards that candy and grab it. London wanted to crawl towards her mother, my daughter, Mackenzie, and wanted some of the shake that she was drinking. They do the shakes. They do 2 a day. So I would recommend at least 1 to 2 shakes a day. I like to see people get started out with at least 1. This is my pH, so this is proof that I'm getting the minerals in my body. I'm at high 7s. This is about 11 o'clock in the morning. Back when my son was 8 years old, we tested his pH, and his was the same as mine from doing 1 shake a day. Now, we tested his friend that happened to be over the house, and he was 8 years old as well, and his was low 6s. So he was already robbing minerals from his bones and organs at 8 years old. And I would say that you'll probably find that most people are going to be below 7. And so this is a great way to get that nutrition into our body. So I really like this fast food analogy. So many people are in a hurry. They don't have time to sit down and make a meal. And so they reach for the quick thing. And then your body becomes acidic and you crave those things, and it becomes a catch-22. So let's compare, in North America, this is the number 1 meal, hamburger, fries, and a Coke. And then let's compare it to our isogenic shake. And when I got started, it was just chocolate and vanilla shakes. Now we have cookies and cream and salted caramel and raspberry cheesecake and mint chocolate, pumpkin spice. There's so many incredible flavors, and they're all healthy. And we inspect every ingredient every time it's dropped off for quality and for any contamination. And then every batch is checked to make sure that what we say is in it is actually in it. And John Anderson said, I guarantee you'll look different and feel different in 3 to 5 days. It's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. So let's just go over some of the reality here: nutrition, calories, and cost, comparing the 2 meals. Nutrition, I used to say minimal because there are some sesame seeds there, but really it's negative because this is going to cause your body to go into acidosis, which is going to cause your body to pull the minerals out of your bones and organs, which is really negative, right? It's depleting the body, where we have maximum nutrition. There's actually over 240 nutrients in this shake. Remember, I said you only need 90? They're in there, but there's more than that. There's no way you could make a plate that would be as minerally dense with as high quality nutrients, and they're actually all there, like this shake. The calories, 1,830 calories for that meal right there. That's like an entire day. 240 calories for 1 shake. And so we have a minimal amount of food in calories, but a maximum amount of nutrition, which is just the opposite over here. And they're charging you more for it. We're less than $3 a meal. The average person will save up to $200 a month if they replaced breakfast and dinner with this shake. and your body will thank you and you'll crave it. It'll be your go-to meal. And they're so convenient. They're so easy. I just have that little NutriBullet with the cup on it. I just mix it up right there, ice and water, and it's a treat. It's like a treat. I crave that like I used to crave the ice cream and the Snickers. Only this is healthy. It gets my body alkaline, and I no longer crave the ice cream and Snickers. It's a big difference. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. The person that shared it with you, I'm sure they were quite excited to have the conversation with you and pass this link along. I just want to finish with this. I like this quote. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. And then go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. When I put these products in my body, it woke me up. It was like the fog lifted from my head. I had mental clarity. I was waking up before the alarm clock was going off. I released the extra weight. I'm back to my high school wrestling weight when I was 16, and I'm 50 now. And I wasn't like that before these products. I released a total of 53 pounds. That was 13 years ago, and I've maintained it as a lifestyle. This is what we call the forever pack right here. John Anderson said about the isogenesis, and it used to be called Product B isogenesis. Now it's just isogenesis. He says it's the greatest discovery of our time. And the formulator that made that product made that shake as well. The science is there, you guys. And I'm so excited for you to get on this journey and for it to wake you up. I call it bringing heaven to earth. And the whole thing behind that is I was praying for God. I had lost my health. I had lost my mental clarity, my mental balance. And I was praying for God to take my life or help me find a solution. And Isogenics showed up. And the only reason I was praying for God to either take my life or help me find a solution is because I was in such pain. I was tired all the time. I was fatigued. I just didn't feel good. When I went to Disneyland, it wasn't the happiest place in the world for me. It was like I was tired. I wanted to sit on the bench. I didn't enjoy myself. And it was all because of what was going on physically, mentally. And now my kids have a hard time keeping up with me. And I've come alive. And no matter what I'm doing, I feel great. And to me, that's heaven on earth. I feel amazing now. I want to live. And I want other people to live. And I'm very passionate about that. And I'm sure the person that shared this with you is as well. And when you put these products in your body, you will be too. And no matter what you're doing, whether it's at work, whether it's at home with the family, whether it's on vacation, you will feel amazing. And it's guaranteed. So with that, just get back with the person that got you here. Thanks again for allowing me to take the time to share this with you. And I hope that we meet sometime.